What's up, guys? It's your man DX, and I'm back. Today I'm going to do one of my favorite things, and that's analyze a video from the Steve Harvey Show, the segment called Hey Steve. Why is it one of my favorite things to do? Well, because Steve is hilarious. Not in the comedian kind of way, but in the pathetic kind of way. And I'm still trying to figure out why on earth anybody would ask this man any advice on relationships. It's not like he's proven that he can have a successful marriage and stay together in his own personal life. I mean, if you haven't heard, he's gotten screwed over in a major way by his ex-wife in a divorce. And yeah, I get it. Most of his audience is women, so maybe they're just trying to pick his brain so that they can find a guy that they can screw over in a divorce too. It makes sense, but that's neither here nor there. Let's jump right into the video and see what pearls of wisdom Steve has for the ladies. But first, let me remind you to go ahead and hit that like button if you like the content that I'm putting down. Hit the dislike if you don't like it. Either way, it's okay. Also, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the Elite DX channel. And don't forget the notification bell so that you'll know when I release a new video. Leave a comment for me in the comment section. We can have a conversation back and forth about this video so that we can kick up this algorithm on YouTube and make this channel grow. And lastly, don't forget to recommend the channel and share this video. Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. Now let's get right into the video.
Hey Steve.
Hey Michelle.
I'm 35, never been married, no kids, and I'm waiting on my person. I've never online dated, hinged, Tindered, bumbled, mingled, and don't plan to because I just don't have the time. I will tell you, I have high expectations for myself, and I will have them for that man that comes alongside me and wants to run this life race. Admittedly, I am quite independent and an alpha female, but not like the ball-breaking, domineering type. I'm a woman of service, I love people, and I get spread quite thin and go all kinds of directions in my city. But I just need that man who can literally just be there right alongside me. So Steve, do you think my independent alpha female mentality comes off too strong?
Well, Michelle, immediately I can tell you exactly what's wrong and why you can't find the proper husband. And let me just keep it real for a second here. This woman still looks good. I mean, most of y'all would probably smash. She's not bad looking. She's got a nice body and she's got a pretty face. She probably has 3 or 4 more years where this could probably work out for her, but there are other things that are wrong. Number one, let's stop with all this vague language. I'm looking for my person. What does that even mean? We've reached a point in this society where people are afraid to even say what it is that they really mean. Why don't you just come out and say, I'm looking for my husband. I'm looking for a husband. I'm looking for my man. I'm looking for a man. Why do we have to say partners, my person, and my one? Women need to cut this mess out. It's just way too vague for most men. Men appreciate clarity. That's your first problem. And then she goes on to say, I'm quite independent. We don't mind you being independent, but we don't want to hear that every 5 seconds. And it doesn't increase your value to us. It just doesn't matter. And then she says, I'm an alpha female. Stop it. You're not an alpha female, especially if you want an alpha male. Alpha and the word female, that's an oxymoron. Alpha female. What is that? Anyway, as a female, you're supposed to be feminine, which means that you take the secondary role. And then she brags about being a, quote, woman of service. Well, my question is, a woman of service to who? To whom are you being of service? Because if you are not being of service to us as the main man in your life, then that's pointless and worthless to us as well. And then she admits that she gets spread quite thin and she goes in all different directions. Well, to us, all that means is that you're not going to be around when you should be. And keep in mind, guys, that this woman wants an alpha male who's more alpha than her. Well, I don't even know many men, period, who would settle for something like this where you're not even going to be around, much less an alpha male. And it's not that most men are extremely needy. We just don't like the idea of our woman gallivanting around the world somewhere where we don't know where she is or what she's doing. And so I've listened to this woman talk for less than 1 minute, and I've already pointed out 5 different things that are problems with the way she thinks and the way she presents herself. But let's get back to the video and see what Steve has to say about this.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. Have you been in long-term relationships?
I have. I've been in 3,
And
all less than about 1.5 years, and
Okay.
I called off actually a wedding as well.
And the guys were?
Incredible, just not the ones I want to spend my life with, like life responsibility issues.
You, an alpha woman, extremely independent, but you want a man that's more alpha male than you are, and you want to know if he's out there.
Well, yeah, like the faith-filled, I need like a Scottie Pippen to my MJ. Like, I'm MJ, like Michael Jordan, and I need that Scottie Pippen that's going to toss me the ball.
Wait.
Like, come alongside me.
No. Ain't nobody finna do that.
Like a teammate.
No, ain't no man finna do that. You, Michael Jordan, I'm finna be your Scottie. What strong, independent, more alpha male you done met that's finna be the Scottie and let you be the Michael Jordan?
Well, I can be the Scottie, the Rodman, but is the Michael Jordan out there? That's
the
question.
they out there.
You think so?
But let me say this though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the problem is you've had 3 long-term relationships from 3 great guys. Most people can't say that.
Right.
I think it's you.
Ding, 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 ding. You are right, Steve. It is her. See, this is the point where Steve Harvey says something that's right on the nose and is correct. But let's just back up for a second. She admits that she's been involved with, quote unquote, 3 great guys, but they just weren't for her because they had life responsibility issues. And that's a quote. Well, this tells me that she spent all of her best years, including her 20s and her early 30s, getting with guys who are over 6 feet tall, they're alpha males, meaning they're dominant, and they can rock that body when it comes to bedroom exercises. But they're also probably artistic, meaning that they're probably, musicians or painters or something like that. And the money's not there and they're irresponsible. In other words, she's been getting with Brad Chadwick over and over again. Now, when a woman says a man is irresponsible, what that means is they can't pay the bills. But whose fault is that? Hers for picking the wrong guy. But it'll never be framed that way. And then let's talk about this notion of her wanting a man to be her second in command. No self-respecting man is going to want to be Pippen to your Jordan, as she put it. And the irony is, the type of man who would actually do that, this chick wouldn't even want. And again, at this point in the video, Steve Harvey is correct. It is her who is the problem. And if only we could get Steve to elaborate more in the right direction on this, but that's not going to happen, as you will see as the video continues.
Okay, so when I say I've high expectations, they're from like here to heaven. So I wake up, read devotion, read Bible. I have a master's degree.
Yeah.
Then I have a small volunteer-ran nonprofit, like strictly volunteer-ran nonprofit. So I'm quite busy, and a principal of a middle school.
Okay.
So quite busy.
Yeah.
So but I can make time for a man. I cook. I will go out and get dolled up. I can do all that.
Okay.
But I just need someone that can support me in all the endeavors.
You inadvertently said you want your Scottie to which is really what you meant. But you had to fix it after the crowd
After
went.
we talked.
Ooh, ah.
Yeah.
So you had to adjust it and you said, well, I'll be the Rodman. But not really, though.
You're right.
And there's nothing wrong with you having what you have, doing what you do, and wanting what you want. I never ask a woman to dumb it down. If you have a high expectations of yourself and your life, you should go and do it, and don't stop what you're doing just for a man.
Preach.
You understand? But now understand this now. What man has to come along and be willing to fit into your system? That's hard to find.
Yeah.
Because see, we come with issues. And if we can't be the man, what makes us a man? It's just real simple with men, ladies. You got to stroke that ego. And I appreciate you having high standards. Tell me the type of man you're looking for. Just tell me what that is.
Did you catch that, guys? Did you notice how Steve subtly switched it from her being the problem over to the problem is actually the men, and how the men that you want are hard to find? Isn't that interesting? He basically said that men are flawed because they come with issues, and the inference there is that women are not flawed. And he implied that a man can't handle a woman who's doing her own thing because we're basically little boys who need our egos stroked. That's a very condescending way to frame this, very condescending towards men. But what else should we expect? Most of his audience is women. And another thing, I noticed that seconds earlier, she admitted that she has high expectations that are quote unquote from here to heaven. Well, what she really needed to hear was, hey, your expectations of what you want in a man now don't match up to what you've chosen in the past. So maybe you should choose better. But of course, Steve is not going to say that. This is going off the rails real quick.
Who is this right here?
This is my incredible mother.
She's heard this before.
Well, she wants grandkids.
Yeah.
Like yesterday.
Yesterday.
But I keep telling her to ask my brother. So, let's get back to those qualities.
Yeah.
So I like what you said. Everything that I
No, tell me. No. Now I want to hear what you are. Okay. I want you to tell me what you want in a man.
All right. Faith-filled, God first.
Okay.
Smart and witty, so can hold a good conversation.
Okay.
Adventurous, likes to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Family first, is secure with himself, doesn't have to have a lot of money, just secure and willing to support their teammate. That's truly what have I missed anything, Mom?
Yeah.
Oh, about 20 things.
Yeah, you've missed. I still haven't heard the type of man you want.
Oh, you want even the physical characteristics?
No, I want the type of man you want. A male type is you want a man who is this way, does this, feels this, thinks that. That's a type. Maybe we're having trouble with finding it because you don't know exactly what it is.
Heard. Received.
And let me tell you something. And you all that in a bag of chips. You everything. You got
Salsa,
great personality.
Queso.
Salsa, queso.
Guacamole.
But you a lot though.
I know.
You a lot. I just found that out just talking to you. You just a lot. And you lot. But you done had 3 men that are locked in on that lot. But then what you kept wanting from them, they didn't live up to it.
And I wanted to live out my dream too.
And you want to live out your dream.
And I did. So now I'm 35.
But see, you can't drag
Single.
everybody with you on your dream that don't want to go.
You guys see how this just devolved into a ball of confusion? Steve Harvey is one of those males who has an international media presence, and all he does is cater to women and tell them what he thinks they want to hear, instead of giving them sound advice and telling them the things they need to hear. You see, what he should be doing is giving her some sound advice on how she can improve herself in order to be a satisfactory mate for a man. I'm convinced that it's males like Steve Harvey that are part of the reason why women of this day and age are so confused and also refuse to change. The absolute last thing this woman needed to hear was that she's perfect and that the men are basically the problem. But that's exactly, in a roundabout way, what Steve told her. He acknowledges in that last clip that Michelle is, quote, a lot to deal with, and also acknowledges that she's had 3 or 4 decent guys who have been willing to put up with her mess. But then he goes off the rails by telling her that she's all of that and a bag of chips. That's an old expression, but whatever. Then she agrees with him by saying, adding in that she's the salsa and the guacamole and the queso too. Well, that's a pretty conceited way of thinking. And what Steve immediately does is reinforce that in her mind that she's all that. That's never a good idea. But then Steve even goes further and tries to double down on taking a swing at men by saying that the men she did have a chance with, they couldn't live up to what she wanted from them. Hold up. Didn't he just say earlier in the video that the problem seems to be her? This is not making a lot of sense. But let's back up to the beginning of that last clip where Michelle mentions that her mother, who's sitting behind her and chiming in, is pressuring her to have children like right now. Well, sadly, Michelle, your mother is partially to blame for the problems that you're having in life right now, i.e. not being able to have a quality relationship with a man. It's ironic that she's bugging you to have children right now at this point, because women of her generation, your mother's generation, the Gloria Steinem generation, constantly battered it into the heads of their daughters that they don't need a man and that they don't need to worry about kids. They need to go and focus on themselves and their careers and what they want to attain in life, and there'll be plenty of time later on in life to have a husband and a relationship and kids. Well, obviously, that's not true. You were lied to. And I like how Steve's big takeaway from this whole encounter is that maybe Michelle is having trouble finding what she wants in a man because she doesn't really know exactly what that is. Well, that's partially true. So I guess it's true what they say, that even a broken clock is right 2 times a day. Steve is the broken clock in this scenario. But I think we can all agree that the largest takeaway from this whole thing is that Michelle, at this point, is not the type of woman that the men Michelle wants are looking for. Well, I was going to play the rest of this Hey Steve segment, but I think I'm good with leaving it right there. The rest of the segment is just more of Steve putting his simping on overload by telling Michelle more good things about how great she is, and then giving her some useless advice, like she needs to figure out how she fits into a man's life as well as how he fits into her life. You know, useless garbage like that. If you would like to see the rest of the Facebook video, I will leave a link in the description. So guys, before you leave, go ahead and hit that like button if you appreciated this video. Hit the dislike button if you didn't. It's all good. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the Elite DX channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so that you can be notified when I drop a new video. And lastly, let's get the conversation started down below in the comments section. The interaction between us in the comments section really does boost the YouTube algorithm, and it helps the channel to grow. Thank you guys so much. And as always, until next time, this is your man DX, and I am out.